Okay, welcome in. I'm going to be reviewing Friday's action from the National Hockey League. There are only 4 games on tap, so this review shouldn't take too terribly long. All right, starting in Vegas, as the Vegas Golden Knights played an earlier game today against the Ottawa Senators at home. So in the first period, Adam Gaudette will get his first goal of the season from Reinhardt and Bernard Docker just over 2 minutes into the first frame. Claude Giroux would give the Sens a 2-0 lead, getting his third goal of the season from Jensen and Batherson, 12 minutes and 15 seconds. 2-0 at that point in favor of the Senators. Nick Waugh would get the Vegas Golden Knights on the board. For Waugh, that would be his second goal of the season from Pearson and Pietrangelo. Nicholas Hague would tie the game up just 21 seconds after that, getting his first goal of the season, assisted by Holtz, 17 minutes and 44 seconds of that same period. And 50 seconds after that, Drake Patherson would then give the Sens the lead back, getting his fifth goal of the year, unassisted, 18:34 of the first period. So the Sens had a 3-2 lead heading into the second period. Ivan Barbashev would tie the game up just over 6 minutes into that period, his sixth goal of the season for Pietrangelo and Hanifin. Adam Gaudette would get his second goal of the game, a power play goal from Giroux and Stützle, giving the Sens the lead for the third time, 4-3. At that point, it was 17:44 of the second period. So heading into the third, the Sens had a 4-3 lead. Late in the period, Thomas Hertl would tie the game up, getting a power play goal from Stone and Eichel, 16:49 of that period. Keegan Miller would strike exactly a minute after that, getting his second goal of the game. Second goal of the season, I should say, from Pearson and Pietrangelo. It would end up being the game-winning goal. And then Barbashev would get an empty net goal, his second of the game, his seventh of the season from Eichel and Stone, 18:14 of the third period. So the Vegas Golden Knights would win 6-4 after scoring 3 goals in the third period. Okay, now we're going to head to New Jersey as the Devils played host to the New York Islanders. Brock Nelson would kick things off in the first period, getting his third goal of the season from Balesh and Palmieri, a minute 23 of the first. Nico Hischier would tie the game up, getting his 8th goal of the season from Bratt and Dillon, 11:36 of that same frame. Anders Lee, the captain, would get a power play goal, his third of the season from Dobson and Peugeot, 14:03 of the first period. So heading into the second period, the Islanders had a 2-1 lead. In the second period, Curtis Lazar would tie it up, getting his first goal of the season from Cotter and Singletary, 5:31 of the second period. Kyle Palmieri would give the Islanders a lead, third goal of the season from Romanov and Nelson, 11:28 of the second period. So heading into the third, the Islanders had a 3-2 lead. In the third period, with a minute and a half to go, Jesper Bratt would tie the game up, getting his second goal of the season. We would need overtime to settle this one, and Bo Horvat would get the game-winning goal, his third of the year. 4-3 would be the final score, assisted by Barzal and Pollock, just a minute and 9 seconds into the overtime frame. Now we're off to Chicago as the Blackhawks played host to the Nashville Predators. In the first period, Craig Smith would get the lone goal of the period, his third of the season from Reichel and Allen, 2:55 of the first. In the second period, Connor Bedard would get his second goal of the season from Vlasic and Murphy, 5:14 of the second frame. Philip Forsberg would get the Nashville Predators on the board, getting his third goal of the year from Nyquist and Guerrier, 13:41 of the second frame. Gustav Nyquist would tie the game up with 3 minutes to go. A shorthanded goal, his second of the season from Carrier and Smith. So heading into the third period, we were tied up at 2. Brady Shea would get the game-winning goal, his second of the season from Novak and Evangelista, a power play marker, 13:07 of the third period. So Nashville, despite being down 2-0, would rally to get 3 goals in the final 2 periods and escape Chicago with a W. And the last game took place in Edmonton, as we had the Oilers playing host to the Pittsburgh Penguins. There was no scoring in the first. Leon Draisaitl would get the first goal of the game, his 4th of the year from Arvidsson and Bouchard, 13 minutes of the second period. 17:35 of the same period, and Bouchard would strike, getting his second goal of the season from Arvidsson and Podkolzin, if I said that name correctly. So heading into the third, the Oilers had a 2-0 lead. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins would score his first goal this season from Hyman and Ekholm, just 16 seconds of the third. And then Ekholm will get a power play goal, his first of the year, from Arvidsson, 7 minutes into the third period. So the Oilers would shut out the Penguins 4-0. So we'll take a look at the standings. Checking out the wild card. So starting in the Atlantic, Florida's still on top, 5-3-1 for 11 points. Tampa Bay has 4-3-0, and Detroit has the same record. They're both second and third, respectively, in the Atlantic Division. The New Jersey Devils, despite the loss, are still hanging in first place, 5-4-2 for 12 points. The Rangers are right on their tail, 5-1-1. They have 11 points, and Washington's only 2 points back in New Jersey. They're 5-1-0. In the wild card spots, Carolina is in the number 1 spot, 4-2-0. The Senators are 4-3-0. And then checking out the rest of the Eastern Conference, we have the New York Islanders, who are 3-2-2 for 8 points. Toronto is 4-4-0 for 8 points. Buffalo is 3-4-1 for 7 points. Boston has the same record. Pittsburgh has 3-5-1 for 7 points. Columbus is 3-3-0 for 6 points. Montreal is 2-4-1. They have 5 points. And down at the bottom, the Philadelphia Flyers are 1-5-1. They have 3 points so far. Okay, in the West, Winnipeg is still the only undefeated team, still in the NHL, 7-0-0 for 14 points. Minnesota is in second place, 5-0-2 for 12 points. And Dallas is in third place, 6-2-0. They also have 12 points. Calgary is in first place in the Pacific with a record of 5-1-1, 11 points. Vegas is 5-2-1, 11 points. And the Los Angeles Kings are 4-2-2. They have 10 points. The 2 teams in the wild card are the St. Louis Blues with a record of 5-3-0. They have 10 points. And Seattle is 4-3-1. They have 9 points. The rest of the Western Conference looks like this. Utah is 4-3-1 with 9 points. Vancouver is 3-1-2 for 8 points. Colorado is 4-4-0 for 8 points. Anaheim is 3-2-1. They have 7 points. Edmonton is 3-4-1. They also have 7 points. Chicago is 2-5-1 for 5 points. Nashville is 2-5-0. They have 4 points. And San Jose is the only team that still have not registered a win. They're 0-6-2. They have 2 points. I did put up a little post on my channel, but I will just ask this question. What do you guys think is more likely to happen? San Jose getting their first win or Winnipeg getting their first loss? Be interesting to see. Anyways, as always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.